Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. Welcome if you are new here. My name is Roxanne, also known as Bye Bun. I'm a mixed media artist, illustrator, and maker of things. Also a collector of fruit stickers, which I will explain in just a moment. Today we're going to be starting a new sketchbook. A new sketchbook which I absolutely do not need to be starting. There I am catching that little fruit sticker, by the way. Side note, I have been working on a Wreck This journal. It's something that I started at the end of last year, and I've been doing it over on Patreon, and a number of my patrons have been doing it along with me. But one of the prompts is to collect fruit stickers. And so I've been trying to make more of an effort to remember to do this. So when I'm in my kitchen and I have a fruit sticker, I stick it on myself so that when I come back into my studio, I can take it off and put it on that particular page. So anyways, just a random side note tangent there. If you want to see those videos, there's 2 episodes of that over on my Patreon. But let's talk about this little sketchbook here. Now, as you may remember, in my 2025 lineup video, which was, I had a big pile of stuff. I had a big pile of sketchbooks there. I am close to completing two sketchbooks. So it's like, I know I have new sketchbooks on my horizon, but apparently I couldn't wait. I couldn't cool my jets because I had this crazy itch to get a toned paper sketchbook. I don't know why. Maybe it's these dry markers, which yes, that's what they're called. I'll talk about them in more detail in just a minute here. But I don't know, maybe it's just that the materials I've been using lately, I thought maybe subconsciously, I think these will do well on toned paper. Maybe it's because I know I have new sketchbooks that need to be purchased to replace these ones that I'm finishing, that I kind of was like, I want to do something different. I wanted something kind of floppy and kind of fun, but that I could also do a lot of stuff in. Well, here we are. I jumped on the gun too early and didn't wait. I still have those other sketchbooks I need to finish. But here we are. So this is the Stillman and Byrne. I think specifically it's the Nova series toned paper sketchbook. It is for mixed media. I'll put a link down below, and I will also put a link down below to all of the materials that you're going to see me use in this, or certainly the materials that I really love. One of them being these dry markers. So I discovered these. I discovered one randomly when I used to go to a weekly drawing group. And there were always supplies out that we could use. And there was this one of these in the bin of stuff. And I loved it so much that I stole it. And I've had it in my pencil pouch for 2 years now. And it is slowly dwindling away because I use it so often. So I finally did my research and discovered that they are the Koh-i-Noir dry markers. Why they call them that, I don't know. Basically what it is like a fluorescent colored pencil, reminiscent of like a highlighter. Like it's giving colored pencil highlighter vibes. They do feel a tad waxier, I would say, than other sort of colored pencils, but they're really fun to use. They're fun for like scribble scrabbly backgrounds. They're fun for just sketching. It really just kind of fits my vibe. Okay. So I ended up caving and buying a 5-pack of them more recently. So that's what you're seeing me kind of draw off to the side. And then over here, I'm using a different material, which I will talk about in a minute. But let's first talk about, there's so much to cover in this video, you guys. I'm going to be rambling like crazy. If you don't want to hear me ramble, just mute the video and then you can just watch me do the things. Okay. But the things that I'm doing, I decided to follow along some prompts from a sketchbook challenge, an art challenge of sorts. Because I was starting a new sketchbook, I really didn't want a lot of brain power. I wanted to just be keeping it really loose, very sketchy, and just sort of have fun with things. So I decided to follow Katie Moody's 30 Days of Sketchbook Joy prompts. I will put a link down below to Katie's social media, and if I can find it, the prompt list as well. So what you're seeing me do here are each of the prompts. So day 1 was draw your art supplies. So that's why I did those wonky little pencils on one side. This is day 2, a pop of orange. Actually, now that I look at it, are they supposed to be in order? I don't even know, because there's no like numbers next to the prompts. So maybe it doesn't order. The order doesn't matter. I mean, I don't know. Either way, this was the second one on the list, pop of orange. So I went literal with it and decided to draw an actual orange. I've had oranges in the brain lately since I just recently got a new tattoo of an orange on my arm. So I've been like vibing with oranges a lot lately. So that was kind of an easy one in my brain as far as what I wanted to draw. Up next, this is houseplant, which I decided to be quite literal with. I don't know why I was thinking houseplant. Originally for houseplant, I thought, I'll do like some just big like palm leaves, like leafy leaves, just filling up the whole page kind of thing. But I do that a lot. So then I was like, how else can I interpret this? And then I literally started thinking about a house with like a plant bursting out of it. Was this the most successful? I don't know. I mean, the idea is cute. I do think that there's more to sort of dive into this. Like, I'd like to expand on this idea a little bit more, like almost maybe give the house like legs or like root legs or something like that. Like really make it a character almost. I don't know. So I would consider this very much like a initial sort of concept sketch or idea. Certainly by no means is this a finished illustration. And I would say that for all of these. Everything that you're watching me do on screen here, none of this is by any means a completed illustration. This is how I approach my sketchbooks, as really just like play space, messing around, coming up with ideas, playing around with materials, and especially with a sketchbook like this where it is toned paper. So you're going to see me use a lot of different materials, a lot of different things that some are and aren't as successful on this paper. It really just depends. And even within some of these materials, some colors performed better than others. It really is like, if you want the ultimate creative play space, get yourself a toned paper sketchbook, because very quickly you will realize what does and doesn't work, and you will have to kind of just accept it and move on. Or you'll get really obsessed with things, the way that things look, and then you'll want to just try to repeat that over and over again. By the way, if you hear snoring, it is because Dante is in my lap. I couldn't resist. He was giving me these sweet little puppy face eyes, and he's going in to get a dental tomorrow. And so I'm like babying him like crazy, just because I know tomorrow's not going to be a fun day for him. So I keep like giving him extra treats and picking him up like a baby, because he is a big baby. So if you hear snoring or weird sounds, it's because Dante is in my lap. So yeah, outlining here on this little houseplant with the Pentel Pocket Brush pen. I've grown to really love this pen. This was something that I became reacquainted with during my Battle of the Black Brush Pen video over on Patreon, where I was testing out different brush pens because I was trying to find one similar to another one that I was using. Anyways, let's come back to talking about these Artex markers. I think they're specifically Artex paint markers is what they are called, because they do have acrylic markers which have like a bullet nib. That's different. These are the Artex paint markers. Now I will say Artex sent me those markers a long time ago as like a test run. And when they sent them to me, I did film like a big, hey, me testing out these markers sort of video. And what I did was that I worked in my sketchbook every day for a week only using those markers. But I filmed this video in August. So now it's just been sitting on my desktop, and at this point is completely outdated. Like it's like a dead video because I use these markers all the time. I am obsessed with them. They're really easy to use. They are like a better dupe of the Michaels Recollections paint pens or paint markers or acrylic, whatever those were called. If you guys remember, I was really obsessed with those. There's the Jane Davenport paint over pens, which I really like those, but they only come in a specific colors. Then I fell in love with the Michaels Recollections pens, which were the same sort of vibe, right? It's like that opaque paint pen, chalky sort of application, right? With a felt tip. And then these guys are like the newest generation of it, I feel like. They are really fun. Some colors are hit or miss. Some markers settle weird and some don't. Like I've had a couple that randomly, like the color just looks very strange. Like it doesn't come out like consistently. It comes out in like splotches and it dries down weird. But then I have other colors that are very reliable and fantastic, like the background of that house that I use, that pale blue, obsessed. And it looks so good on this toned paper. I had assumed that just because that light blue looked the way that it did, that I was like, okay, every pastel I use on this is going to look this way. That was not the case, because I have continued to work in this sketchbook beyond what you're seeing in this video here. In fact, if you want a part 2, let me know, because I've already filmed the next 5 days of prompts. But yeah, obsessed with those markers. I will put a link down below. I use them all the time. I use them in art journaling, in my sketchbook stuff. It's great in my 5-year journal. Highly, highly recommend. Again, they were sent to me to try, and I just happened to fall in love with them. But it's definitely one of my favorite things that I use. All right, let's talk about this snake here. This snake that, was I crazy about how it turned out? No. But it was a nice little page filler, and it checked off the prompt, right? And I'm just trying to get my hand warmed up here and push some material around and have fun on my new toned paper sketchbook. So the prompt for this one, I think, was light, soft pink and olive green, or light pink and olive green or something like that. I debated whether or not to use those Artex markers for this, but I ended up just going with colored pencil instead, because I wanted to keep it just really loose and fun. And I didn't want to over detail it either, because I just was trying to get as much done as I could in one sort of sitting, without thinking too hard. That was the main thing. I wanted to stay really loose with this. So following along with those little sketchbook prompts and just reaching for different materials, really what I found that I ended up doing through this video and following those prompts was figuring out what colors and materials I like using on this toned paper is really what it came down to. And I don't think I would realize that until later on, sort of watching this back. And now that I've done the next batch of prompts, I hope you can hear Dante snoring. I don't know if you can. Now that I've done the next batch of prompts, I found that when I sat down, I already knew in my brain, like, ooh, I want to use this blue color. I want to use this pencil to sketch. I want to use, I already knew kind of in my brain what it was I wanted to use. And I didn't know with this, because it was so much of like a experimenting sort of thing, which was also really great. It was really fun, because I am trying to make more art this year and just have more carefree playtime. And I know originally, even in my 2025 lineup video, I had said I want to do more off camera sort of things. Even though I'm still filming stuff, I'm very casually putting my camera on. It's not even like I'm talking real time as I'm drawing. I'm just throwing my camera on, sketching, and just enjoying sitting there playing with materials. And I'm really trying to embrace that a little bit more kind of going into this year here. This is the last little prompt that I do for this particular video, which was drawing from a master, referencing the masters. What, hold on, let me look. Oh, master study. I just did a quick Pinterest search of famous artist sketching, and this popped up and I was like, looks good. Here we go. I know I wanted to do a head. I was tempted to pull up the Meds 100 heads and grab a reference from that, but I was like, that's not really fitting the prompt, is it? So I tried to pick something that kind of fit it a little bit better. So I just liked the position of this woman's head and her bonnet thing on her hair, and how she had fabric sort of draping over her shoulders. I really enjoy drawing that kind of stuff. And so I just kind of, again, keeping it really loose. I mean, I'm sketching with a colored pencil here, I'm just keeping it loose. I haven't drawn like this in a very long time either. I mean, it was art school flashbacks much. Even just being on toned paper was art school flashbacks, let me tell you, because it's been so long that I've done any kind of really even drawing like this and on this paper. And but I really just tried to keep it loose and not think about it too much. And again, it's not about having a finished work of art or a finished illustration. It's about just getting my hand moving. And especially with being on paper like this, having my brain sort of think about midtones and highlights and shadows a bit differently than how I normally am in sort of my sketchbook. So is this the most successful sketch? I don't know, but it doesn't really matter whether it is or not. It's successful in that I did it, right? And I highly recommend adapting that sort of mindset when you're in your sketchbook. If you have done something in your sketchbook on the pages, it is successful. And that is that. I did end up coming back and adding a bit of a background to her, which you'll see towards the end of this, just grabbing again one of those Artex markers in a really gorgeous blue, that same blue that I used to outline the snake on the previous page. I decided to use that as sort of like her little background there. As I mentioned earlier, I did end up doing more of this. If you want to kind of see a continuation of this video, a part 2, let me know in the comments down below. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I put out a new video every week, and actually I've been doing 2 videos a week this year, just really delivering here. But yeah, subscribe if you want more videos like this, and let me know in the comments down below. If you made it to the end of this video, why don't you put a little leaf or some plants or something in the comments to signify that little house plant there. Again, an idea that I would like to revisit and do a little bit more. I think there's more to unpack there. And I don't know what it is. Well, it's more houses and plants is what it is, but I don't know what it will look like, but that's something that I definitely would like to dabble in. So leave a plant thing emoji in the comments for me down below. Thank you so much for watching. Keep on watching to the end here. You'll see me just fill in this background and then a little bit of a real-time flip through for you at the end. But thank you for watching. Like this video if you liked it, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!